Hello everyone. I'm Dr. Wing Lam. This is my first lecture with you in this module. The topic is training and development. If you have any question, just feel free to ask. I hope that you have fun in this class. Thank you. This is the training outline. First, we will have a discussion on why is training important. Then we will look into what is training, the definition of training versus development. And then we will also have a discussion on the training cycle. And finally, we'll have a discussion on the training transfer. We are going to look into what factors were affecting the training transfer. The burning question is, why is training important? As you can see that a lot of the newspaper cutting and research has already done on the effectiveness of training. And many of the research has found that employees, they will quit if there is lack of learning and development opportunity in the organization. Approximately, there are around 2 in 3 employees will quit if they consider that there is no learning and development opportunity. Indeed, if there is training, so it will provide great benefits if it done well. And also, well, this is one of the most popular subjects with organizational psychology. It is because training will bring to some benefits to the organization, will create some positive performance and productivity to the organization. If the organization do not do well in training, and so it will cost the organization a lot, because as you can see that it's not only the employees will leave the organization, but the organization still need to spend a lot of money to hire the new employee, and then we will give them the orientation, and we'll also have the honeymoon period, and will also cost the organization a lot. And remember that because today's employees are the knowledgeable workers, and training becomes one of the important expectations in their career development. So that's why the organization should spend more resources and time, effort in order to provide training to the employees. This is a common problem that the top young managers are in a non-stop job hunt. We asked the young managers why they change their job very often. They mentioned that it is because the employers do not do much to help them to grow in their job. And what they would like the employers to do is different from what the employer is providing to them. And they did not get much in the way of formal development, such as training, mentoring, and coaching. That the things which they are highly valued. That's why they feel very unhappy and want to look for other job opportunity to see any career development for them. Why training is so important? As we can see that the world is changing. With the new technology, the new strategy, and the new culture, if the organization do not change, but others change, and so the organization will left behind. In order to take the market share, the employees should also be well equipped and trained to face the new technology and also their customers' requirement. In addition, training will also encouraged by the government because having more training to train the knowledgeable workers, it means we will provide more opportunity for the organization to expand. So that to help is not only the organization, but also the country for the improvement and development. And indeed, we can see that a huge market organization is willing to spend a lot of money to train the employees. In the United States, it's almost 109 million US dollars spent on training. In the UK, it also spent a lot of billions in training the employees and developing the employees. In short, we can see that training is very, very important. But what is the meaning of training? By definition, training refers to a planned and systematic effort to modify and develop knowledge, skills, attitude. Its purpose in the work situation is to enable the workers to perform adequately in a given task. In short, it is a planned and systematic effort in order to provide something to modify the skills for the employees so that they can help the organization to meet with and achieve the organizational goal. So this is the meaning of training. What are the drivers, the factors in affecting training and development? Number one, the national and economic interests. As we mentioned earlier, workers' skills is very important to help the organization to gain the economic competitiveness of the nation. It's not only to the organization itself, but also will help to improve and increase the economic competitiveness of the whole nation, of the whole country. Say, for example, like Tesla become very popular in the car manufacturing in the United States. It's not only in the United States. Remember that this new technology, if the country train the organization members, employees to produce this innovative product so that they are not only selling their product within United States, but around the world. So because of this skillful workers, and so will help the organization as well as the country, United States, to increase their economic competitiveness. Besides that, we also mentioned earlier, the new technology, strategies, and market requires adaptation. If the organization do not change, but other organizations will change, that organization will left behind. They cannot meet with the customer's expectation. They cannot meet with the demand. Some of the organization or also teams, because they have to do some restructuring, probably due to layoff or factoring the organization, they have to do some restructuring. Because of that, employees should also receive training and development so that to change or equip to modify their skills in order to fit with the new organizational structure. One of the example is if the organization nowadays, because due to the pandemic, and so many of the employees they have to work from home. In the past, employees they can meet face to face to have meeting, the face to face meeting, but now they cannot due to the pandemic, and many people can only meeting using the virtual medias such as Zoom or other social medias. If the employees they do not qualify, do not have the skills to use the IT devices system, they cannot have the virtual meetings. In such a case, organizations need to provide different types of the training, even for the professors, because we have to do some online class now in this semester and also in the last semester. We also need to receive training on how to use Zoom to teach. At the same time, we also need to use other social medias to help in order to facilitate the training, facilitate teaching. In such a case, we also need to receive certain relevant training. Besides that, training and development can also attract new and better candidates. Because nowadays, the candidates are the knowledgeable workers mostly. They look for the opportunity to improve and develop. Training can become a very attractive package in attracting talents. Next, we also can keep current candidates from moving to competition because employees will perceive that the organization value them. The organization provide training and development so that they are not willing to leave the organization. And of course, it's not only limited to those drivers. We still have some other reasons to explain why training and development are needed. You may have a question, is training the same as development? Indeed, in most of the time, we also use these two terms interchangeably, but indeed by definition and the nature are quite different. Training is a kind of the specific knowledge provided to the employees. We hope the employees to learn certain specific knowledge. Probably training is required, especially when we can see some existing challenge. If we discover that the employees, they are not qualified or they are not well equipped to do their job, so we have to provide some certain specific knowledge training. One of the example is if the employees, they have to use the Microsoft Excel, and this is quite specific, the supervisor, the organization need to provide those task-focused training to the employees. The earlier case is professor, because we have to use Zoom or other social medias to conduct online classes. Because for some of the professors, they may not have experience in doing this before, and we are lacking of this specific knowledge. So organization, the university, providing us some training courses to help us to do the online classes. Development is different from training. Development somehow is more general. It provides some general capability to the employees. It's not because they are now having some existing challenge. Instead, we can see some future challenges or some future opportunities to improve. That's why instead of providing some specific knowledge training, organization will provide some general capability development. Career development is more focusing on the personal development to the subordinates. For example, like the analytical and also the reasoning skills, and to help the employees to improve in a general capabilities. What is the training and development goal? There are three major goals of the T&D. Number one is to improve an employee's level of awareness. As I said that in some of the cases, because we can see there is a gap between what we've already got and what we need. And so there is a gap between the employee's ability to achieving the organizational goal. In such a case, we need to provide the training and development to let the employees improve their awareness, to let them notice that they have to do some improvement. Number two is to increase the employee skills in one or more area of expertise. After letting the employees know that they have to be improved, they need to have certain training. And so the next step is we have to provide certain expertise training to them. Lastly, providing training is not enough. We also need to increase the motivation to perform. Even though they receive certain training and development, it doesn't mean that they will help in enhancing their performance only if the employees are being motivated to perform. One of the very typical examples is that organization, they spend a lot of money to help their employees to improve their computer skills. They want to use the new computer systems at their work in organization, and so to provide training and development to the employees to use the new system. But after a period of time, the organization would find that the employees, they do not use the new system. In most of the cases, not because they do not have the skills, but just because they do not have the motivation to use the new system. Of course, there are lots of the reason. Some of the reason is that people didn't like to change, and so that's why, well, they're still using the old system. And even though they have the new skills, but they don't want to use it. So, well, it's still not enough. It's still useless. That's why the organization need to find some way in order to motivate the employees to improve and make good use of the training expertise. Of course, well, we can see that there are lots of benefits for having training and development for the employees themselves. Number one is we can see that there is the overall positive effects compared with those without any training. But of course, in those studies, and we can see that the effect size will vary because it depends on how effective of the program provided to the employees. In most of the cases, we found that it's not only teaching the employees some technical skills or some specific expertise. Instead, if the organization can providing more cognitive as well as the interpersonal skills training, and it really largely help to improve the overall performance of the employees. And we can also see that it is likely that we have less mistakes made in the future. Sometimes, even though the employees, they may not necessarily to use those skills at this moment, but it doesn't mean that they don't need to use it in future. So if we are well equipped our employees, they get prepared, and in some future will help them to reduce the mistakes that they will make. Besides that, training will also help to increase in self-efficacy, will increase the confidence of employees that they can be able to finish the task. And at the same time, will also increase the self-management skills, will help them to self-control over the resources and the work task so that to help the organization to achieve the goals. And of course, we cannot and never underestimate the influence of the confidence. If the employees they have a high level of the confidence, if they have got enough adequate skills, and so we help them to increase their performance. In addition, providing T&D to the employees will help them to increase their innovation. In one of the studies in 2004, the training mechanics learned to build two cheap bodies using some homemade tools. In this study, we can see that providing the employees the skills and expertise will help them to increase their creativity as well as the innovative ideas. We're providing them some future for the development and opportunity to improve. Besides that, we can also see that the T&D will help them to increase in the teamwork skills, including will enjoy having a better collaboration, communication, and also planning of their own work and as well as their career. What are the benefits of T&D to the organization? Organizations usually measure the improvement in the productivity, sales, revenues, etc. But why this question is not well studied? It is because the effectiveness usually depends on the type of training provided. In some of the cases, even though organizations spend a lot of money in a T&D to the employees, but it doesn't mean that the effectiveness is very significant in increasing the productivity, sales, and revenues, because perhaps they may not provide the relevant training to the employees. So it depends on the types of the training provided, whether they really well fit to the employees' needs. The existing meta-analysis shows that there is only moderate improvement at organizational level. It helped to reduce the cost and help to improve the quality of work. In short, The effectiveness of the T&D is largely depends on the types of training provided and varied across different organizations. Many people say that there is still some dark sides of training. Although for the organizations, it seems that having a group of the well-equipped employee is good. However, at the organization's point of view, probably it will also provide a risk for them to have a higher turnover rate. It is because the employees, if they are being well trained, if they increase their expertise, their employability, their job mobility will be increased. Indeed, we may also consider that this is one of the possible dark side of training. Organizations, especially for some high-tech company, they provide lots of funds and training to the employees. Maybe one day the employees they will quit their job and they are not willing to get a promotion if they realize that they do not have a chance to do so. Instead, they would leave the organization and to work for the other competitor. Also, even they will set up their own business. That's why it is also a kind of the dark side of training that we can consider. At the high level, we may also consider the benefits of T&D at the society level. Training, indeed, can increase human capitals. Those are the intangible skills and knowledge to produce economic value. As I said that, the example of the Tesla is not only benefit the individual, they improve their skills and the knowledge, they are not only improving the organization's productivity and also the sales revenue. Indeed, they were also providing the overall human capital in the United States as the whole. And so it is at the society level. It will help the organization, not only the organization, but also will the country to increase the economic advantages over some foreign competitors. If the employers receive the employees trained for £15, the country probably would spend £11 million but generate £114 million in revenue from the acquired skills. So as you can see that it really helped the society to have the economic gain. Of course, the economic power is also go through a kinds of the negotiation process. Indeed, if the country will have a higher economic power, it means that the negotiation power will be higher. In this case, it will have a likely would build up a better foreign relationship. So as you can see as a whole, at the organization and the country level, it's really help a lot if having the T&D to the employees.